I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Yo, can you believe this? Rachel Zegler, Hollywood's golden girl, is glued to a theater screen watching her doomed Snow White role in a ghost town cinema. It's like she's not just watching a movie. She's witnessing her career crash and burn in real time. At 24, what were you doing? Rachel? Oh, she just blew up Hollywood with some next-level drama, turning a golden opportunity into a legendary flop. I've scoured Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, and a gazillion X posts to bring you the tea on how Rachel threw herself into the eye of the storm. Ready for the mess? Let's dive in. It all started with Rachel's mouth.
When the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
In interviews hyping up Snow White, she straight up trashed Disney's 1937 animated classic, the first ever feature-length Disney film, a cultural treasure loved for generations. She called it weird and dated and dissed the prince as some creepy stalker dude. Her live-action version? It's ditching romance for girl boss vibes with Snow White dreaming of being a CEO instead of finding true love. Sounds woke, right? Nah, it was a cell phone. Snow White 37 isn't just a movie. It's nostalgia for millions. X went off. One user posted, "My grandma showed me Snow White in '95, and Rachel's diss feels like a personal attack." Parents swore they wouldn't take their kids. And OG Disney fans flooded TikTok with videos about their first time watching the original, saying they don't need a remake that spits on the legacy. But wait, it gets worse. Rachel told entire political groups to skip the movie, saying, "I don't need your money." Girl, what? This is a Disney family flick, not a Reddit thread. She yeeted half her audience before the premiere, pissed off the fandom, and got number Rachel Zegler is over-trending like wildfire. Thanks to Rachel's word vomit, Snow White hit theaters with over 1 million trailer dislikes. Disney dropped $370 million on production and marketing, banking on a Lion King remake-level billion-dollar win, or at least Beauty and the Beast vibes. Reality? A straight-up disaster. Opening weekend? A measly $43 million domestically, nowhere near The Little Mermaid's $95 million, which had its own drama. By week 2, it tanked 66%, scraping $14.2 million, losing to some no-name action flick. Even The Chosen, Last Supper, a smaller-scale movie, almost beat it. Per The Hollywood Reporter, by March 30th, 2025, it's at $142.8 million worldwide, projected to lose over $100 million. Ex-users posted pics of empty theaters, rows of green seats like a sad ocean with number snowflop trending. IMDb scores hit a pathetic 1.5 out of 10, so bad you'd think Disney might just Thanos snap the film. Rachel bragged on Insta, "At every premiere, people line up to see me." Yeah, sis, they're lining up for Minecraft, or literally anything else. If the bad takes and box office flop weren't enough, Rachel turned up the drama with Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen. At the 2025 Oscars, they shared a stage, but the vibe was arctic. Gal barely looked at Rachel, who was forcing an awkward smile. X-fans clocked it instantly, with one tweeting, "Gal's acting like Rachel's got cooties. The beef?" Rachel called Gal a pageant queen in an interview with a shady smirk. She also forgot to thank Gal in a long-ass Instagram post about the cast. It escalated when Disney had to beef up security for Gal over threats from Rachel's stans. Per Deadline, Gal quietly bailed on all Snow White promo while keeping her brand squeaky clean with new roles and ad deals. The real kicker? Nobody had Rachel's back. No co-stars, no director, no A-listers defended her online. Disney, the crisis management pros, were like, "We're out." A Variety source spilled that a big shot producer, rumored to be Spielberg himself, flew in to give Rachel a come-to-Jesus talk about her behavior. Hollywood didn't just turn its back, it deadbolted the door. The drama peaked when Rachel rolled into a Snow White screening with her squad to support the film. Instead of cheers, she faced rows of empty seats, so quiet you could hear popcorn hit the floor. She posted an Insta video giggling while buying tickets, trying to spin the narrative. Spoiler, the internet wasn't buying it. That clip got memed to oblivion with captions like, Rachel Zegler tanks her career in 4K. She tried damage control with an apology that screamed, Disney PR wrote this. Ex-users dubbed it Mickey Mouse's apology, and the hate kept coming. Per the rap, Rachel got cut from major gigs. A Toy Story 5 voice role? Gone. A potential Pirates of the Caribbean part? Poof. Disney hired social media babysitters to monitor Rachel's posts. But from West Side Story's breakout star to Hollywood's cautionary tale, Rachel's proof that ego and unchecked hot takes can nuke a career. Rachel Zegler wanted to be a Disney princess, but she ended up the lead in a never-ending drama. Her story's a masterclass in the new Hollywood, where Gen Z fans will stand you hard, then cancel you harder if you fumble their trust. Rachel's Disney's failed experiment. A young star given free rein to speak, but no guide to survive cancel culture. Can she bounce back? Drop your takes in the comments. If you're obsessed with Hollywood tea, smash that like, subscribe, and bell. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.
Disney's 2025 live-action Snow White has sparked heated debates since its reveal, with divided opinions on the character's look and portrayal. Why is this beloved princess suddenly facing so much backlash? To understand, let's revisit the evolution of Snow White, from Disney's pure-hearted princess in 1937 to the fierce warrior of modern adaptations. What made those versions so beloved, and why is the newest one drawing comparisons and criticism? Let's start with the Disney classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937. As the first ever full-length animated feature, this Snow White was a groundbreaking achievement. Voiced by Adriana Caselotti, the character embodied innocence, kindness, and grace, ideal traits of a woman in the 1930s.
Wishing well, make a wish into the well.
The animation style, vibrant colors, and enchanting music made Snow White an instant cultural icon. Her personality was soft and nurturing, which perfectly matched the era's values. However, modern critics often argue that this portrayal was overly passive, aligning with outdated gender roles that portray women as waiting for rescue rather than taking control of their destiny. For instance, the paper Rearticulating the Femme Fatale Archetype, Snow White and the Evil Queen, discusses how Snow White is depicted as a prototype of innocence, naivete, and gullibility, highlighting her passive role in the narrative. Despite these criticisms, the 1937 Snow White laid the foundation for future princesses, setting the standard for charm, elegance, and timeless magic. In 2012, we saw two completely contrasting versions of Snow White, Lily Collins in Mirror Mirror and Kristen Stewart in Snow White and the Huntsman. Lily Collins' Snow White. Lily's portrayal in Mirror Mirror was lighthearted, whimsical, and deeply rooted in fairy tale traditions. Her Snow White was sweet, innocent, and brimming with humor. The film's playful tone and vibrant costumes complemented her portrayal, making it a delightful experience for those seeking nostalgia. However, some critics felt her version lacked emotional depth and failed to stand out compared to bolder reinterpretations. Roger Ebert, a film critic, once commented that, "All of this is in place and looks great, but the dialogue is rather flat, the movie's sort of boring, and there's not much energy in the two places it should really be felt. Between the Queen and Snow White, and between Snow and the Prince. The story is a listless tale that moves at a stately pace through settings that could have supported fireworks." Kristen Stewart's Snow White. On the other hand, Kristen Stewart's Snow White was a gritty and modern reimagination. In Snow White and the Huntsman, the character evolved into a warrior princess, a symbol of resilience and independence. Donning armor and wielding a sword, Kristen's Snow White fought her battles instead of waiting for rescue. While this bold take resonated with those seeking empowerment in storytelling, others criticized it for straying too far from the magical essence of the original fairy tale. Both versions reflect different interpretations of Snow White. Lily Collins embraced the traditional fairy tale charm, while Kristen Stewart brought a modern, battle-hardened twist. Their stark differences highlight changing cultural expectations, showing how Snow White continues to evolve with the times. The 2025 live-action Snow White remake has become a hotbed of controversy. But why is there such a stark divide in opinions? On one hand, fans of the original argue that Snow White should retain her traditional charm, a symbol of innocence, grace, and the magical essence of fairy tales. Additionally, viewers have expressed mixed opinions about Rachel Zegler being cast as Snow White, as they feel she doesn't quite match the original portrayal of the character. Rachel Zegler previously shared that the new film introduces its own backstory for her character's name. She revealed it ties back to a different version of Snow White told in history, where she survives a snowstorm as a child. These comments have sparked backlash on social media, drawing criticism from some audiences. On the other hand, advocates for modernization see the 2025 Snow White as a necessary evolution. Rachel Zegler, celebrated for her talent and diverse background, is viewed as a symbol of inclusivity and empowerment. To them, this reimagined Snow White isn't just a princess. She's a complex, independent figure who reflects contemporary values and challenges outdated fairy tale tropes. This division presents both challenges and opportunities for Disney. The biggest hurdle lies in satisfying two groups of audiences with vastly different expectations. Negative reactions from traditionalists risk impacting box office performance and Disney's brand image. However, the controversy itself has amplified the film's visibility, ensuring it remains a cultural focal point ahead of its release. On social media, the divide is clear. Supporters enthusiastically say, "Finally, a Snow White that reflects today's world. Bravo, Disney." Critics counter with, "Yeah, this isn't Snow White anymore. Where's the magic we fell in love with?" Still, many neutral viewers are adopting a wait-and-see approach, hoping Disney can strike a balance between tradition and innovation to create a Snow White that feels both familiar and meaningful. In the end, Snow White 2025 isn't just a movie, it's a test of Disney's ability to reinvent timeless icons. While the debates rage on, it's undeniable that the film has sparked vital conversations about how we reimagine fairy tales in today's world. While each version of Snow White has its own strengths and flaws, one thing remains undeniable: this princess has held her place as a timeless icon in the hearts of audiences for generations. As for the 2025 version, will Disney succeed in delivering a Snow White that's both familiar and modern, or will it once again become the center of controversy? We believe the answer lies with you, the audience. Share your thoughts on this latest portrayal and let us know. Which version of Snow White is your favorite? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth analyses of your favorite stories and stars. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.